Hi, Nick. Thank you for joining me today. To start, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your role and what your team does.
My name is Nick Cruz. I am an IT manager for an oilfield company out of Odessa, Texas. Um, I'm a one-man team, so it's just me. Uh, so I manage all the IT equipment, networking, things like that. Um, but I'm also a software developer as well too, and I've been using Knack for about 14, 15 years now. Um, and with the demand when they hired me, they wanted me to kind of digitize everything of all the paper processes that they had, manual processes they had. And so that's what I've done using Knack, really great platform to use. Um, and so I've seen it grow and get better and better. And of course, I've adopted a lot of that into what I do now. Um, Along that journey, I've used make.com. Before it was another name, I can't remember. But for automations, because of the requests that I was getting from employees, the company, Knack can do a lot of things natively, although there's some things it's not able to do natively. So that's when I adopted make.com and started utilizing that, learning that. And with the two, and then with those two, has really helped us out tremendously and been able to deliver the requests. But one of the main reasons, one of the needs I needed was a PDF creator where um, we had, field tickets coming in on paper, being written down by field employees, trying to turn in time, work orders, things like that. And of course, when you get that from several employees, uh, 200 plus tickets a day, you get a lot of mess. So we consolidated that. I built an app for that, and had to figure out a way to get those PDFs into the office digitally when they filled out their tickets online using the app. And I tried doing an HTML. Not very good at that. I'm really not much of a coder. I learned how to adapt and use others people's um, you know code, and I can do a little bit of it. But I'm not really good at it. So HTML was a challenge for me, and so I searched and searched and ran into Document. Um, and I was fortunate enough to see that Make did have a module for it. So it's been really a game changer for us. So yeah, I really like to show people that they can utilize it uh, using a Knack app, because I know a lot of people use Knack, and then integrate that with Make as well too.
That's amazing, Nick. Big wow, it's a one-person team, and you've managed to create this incredible solution using this combination of Knack, Make, OneDrive, and Document to manage the tickets. And yeah, that's very interesting. I'll be very happy to see what you have built there. Would you mind walking
Sure,
us
sure.
through the workflow you have?
Yep. Let me share my screen here. Let me go ahead and do this one. Um, so, okay. So here I'm working on a T&M estimate actually right now. So I saved some of this for you guys. Um, I'm not quite finished with it, almost done. Waiting on some feedback as well too. That's also very important. The more feedback, the better it gets. So I created a very simple, plain estimate PDF with information that we needed. Put in some fields in here that I basically have in Knack as well too. So let me move that over. So here is the here is the TN estimates table in Knack. So a lot of these field names will be the same. I kind of just use the same naming, just makes it easier. So this is your main table, and then you have your labor items, your equipment items in here as well too. So a lot of Knack users will already know this part for the most part, but how to get it into Document is the challenge using Make, and it was for me too in the beginning. So let me bring over Make. We'll kind of toggle back and forth. So here's the scenario that I've started and created for Document for that PDF. And Make has really improved a lot too over the years that I've used it for about 6 years now. And so
Oh, wow.
they made it a lot easier in creating and triggers for Knack. And one of the ones that they made was where you can now attach, create a trigger in Knack based on the form submit. And that's new, probably about maybe a year or so. So you have this new event here, and you can create a new event. You'll create a hook, name that hook whatever you want. So in this case, we're going to just say TNM estimate PDF. Say I'm going to put test on here because I already have one. This is our connection to the app, and then the event. This is the one that you want for form submitted. So when you submit that form, it could be an edit form, it could be a new form. As long as it's a form submit, and that will trigger the scenario. So that's the one that you'll use. And what's so cool about it is then you get to pick that form. So in here, you'll have tons of forms. I do love this hover over now that displays the entire form name because it gets long after a while. But let me show you where that comes from because this is tricky. So in the form, and let me get to that form. I was working on something else. It's going to be here. So in that form, well, again, Mac users will have a good idea of how this works. Again, this is just your, this is the first part of the form where they'll choose the initial information for that form, customer, expiration date, job description, and then I'll go to a child page. That child page will then, where they can add multiple records for that estimate. So one would be labor, right? So they would enter that form, create the, collect the records. Then for say trucks and trailers and equipment, these are all separated forms and they drop into the tables. So the big challenge for me in the beginning was like, how do I consolidate multiple records from different tables into one PDF? That was the challenge. And I didn't know how to do it at first. Again, HTML. There is ways of doing it, even using Google Sheets, using Excel. Those are very, very other options, but it was very difficult. Yeah, it was very difficult because the formatting, having to create it from scratch in a way, it was very difficult.
Yes.
And the demand here is very quick. So they're like, Nick, we need this running up and running, next week or something. So it's pretty, I had to work very quickly and had to find quick solutions, if you will. The Document was a very,
very, very visual, very intuitive too.
Yes, yeah, yes, it is. So, yeah, you don't have to start necessarily from scratch and writing code in Excel and HTML code. So, and then here's the trigger. Yeah, so here's the trigger form that I'm using. So when they get down to filling out everything that they need on that estimate, and when they're done, they're going to check this box here and then submit. And that I have a description when they want to create that PDF for the estimate to send to the customer, they'll check this finish box and then submit. The this name right here that you give right here, estimate PDF finished, that is what you're going to look for in Make right here. So that was most time it gives you a default name, but you're going to find a whole bunch of those. So you want to change that to a unique name so that you can find it in your form submit. So then I can say estimate PDF, and there it is. So that's my trigger form right there. And once you find that, and therefore when that form gets submitted, it's going to trigger the scenario. Okay. So very good one. Very good way of doing that. You know, you could do record created and all that, but you don't always want to do it that way because it also triggers, like if you put a raw record in the back end, it'll trigger that as well. So you only want it to trigger when that form is submitted, and therefore you want to use that form submitted trigger right here or event. So so now that I have that there, it's going to, I normally change this to 0 or to blank because I want it to run immediately when it triggers. And then the next thing you'll do is once that form gets submitted, you're going to get that estimate record, and it says form ID, which is equivalent to the record ID. It's just because it's from a form submitted module, it's going to ask for a form ID. So just choose that.
Yes.
And again, it's coming from that table there. And here's where the magic happens. So a lot of this was very tricky for me. So you're going to search for labor items that are attached to that estimate, that parent table record ID. So you're going to grab that field, and you're going to look for that record ID that this estimate is tied to. And of course, it's really just going to be 1, but this is fine. You can change that to 1 if you wanted to. And when it finds those, you're going to want to create a array aggregator to combine all those labor records, okay, into one array. And in the beginning, it's not going to show that document until you add the document module. So don't freak out. It is going to be blank. You'll just add the array aggregator and then add your document module, and then come back to this and it'll show it. So when you click on your target structure, you're going to choose your document and you're going to choose that labor items. So where does that come from? Well, that comes from document. So in document, you're going to have your repeat row here. You're going to have your repeat row here. That's going to provide those records under this header here. So your logic is going to say, okay, we're going to name it labor items, and you want that row to repeat. And so that's what's going to happen there. And you're going to put those fields under that labor, which is a collection of in your data source. So when you create a collection for that labor items, under your logic, you'll add those additional fields that you want to bring over.
Yeah, nice. So just to put that in focus, what a collection field actually means, that's an array of objects. So it's exactly what you're doing when you're doing the array aggregator. So you're just joining the properties into one array, so you can have a list of items with the same properties and then having a repeat list in Documint. Is that right?
Exactly right.
Amazing.
Yes. Now again, of course, you can sort those. You might have to play with these. You want these string. You want it to be a string or number when it is a number. It's important that matches properly. or it'll look funny. A trick on the number field for from Knack, you're going to, I'll get to that later, but when that form is triggered, it comes over here, and then see these fields here under that collection. These are where they're at. So these are the fields under that collection. So you'll grab it from the previous module that's posting right here, and you'll grab the information that you want and put them in those fields. So it's going to search your labor items from the previous module, and it's going to take them and map them to documents, labor items repeat table there, collection rather. We're going to do the same thing for trucks and trailers. Again, the same thing, do that. The limit here is important. So like if you don't think there'll be more than 100, 100's fine. But if you think there's more than 100, then you want to increase that limit, because then it won't return all your results. Okay, you can sort it if you want to if you want to display them in numerical order or alphabetical order. You can sort by whatever field you want to be a little cleaner if you want to do that. We did the same thing for tools and miscellaneous again. And then in the document module, of course, you're going to grab your template that you created, and you're going to use that one. The fields that are here above here are the ones that are going to be the ones that are outside of the repeat tables. So these are going to be all these right here. Okay, those are kind of like a static, if you will. And then when you get down,
level of data.
And then when you get down to
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So when you get down to the array ones here, this is your array for your labor items and your trucks and trailers and all that. So what you're going to do, it's a good thing to name these, because you won't know which ones they are. So you'll want to go in here and rename those modules, so that way you know which one to pick. Okay. So you'll go down here and you'll grab basically that array and move it under the right field. Of course, you want to change it to map. Okay. I have one left to do under rental items, and then I have the totals as well too here, mapped as well. And that's going to come from the one way over here on module 2, which is the estimate table. Okay, and you'll dump those in there. So for the rental, it's going to be very similar. You're going to go in here, grab the module. You're going to click Knack. You're going to search for the records. So we're going to search for the records there. We're going to click on rental equipment items. That's the table that I have those records at, or information. And we're going to filter the PNN. Oops, hold on. I apologize. It's very, I haven't built it here. I apologize. So I haven't built that form yet here. So I need to build that form, but it'd be very similar to, like I said, the other ones. So once I do that, it'll be good. But let's watch this in action here. Oh, one of the cool things you can also do is email it out, which is really great, and upload it back into your app, which is another great thing to do. I kind of do that standard now, because you can put it into the OneDrive folder if you want. You can do all kinds of things after that with that PDF. So again, the document is ready to go. So let's test it real quick. What I'll do is let me turn this off so you can see it run. Let's grab. I lost my screen, but I'll get one here. So I have this this one already here. I have this one already made as a dummy. This is just dummy data right now. So again, I'm adding the records of labor, adding the trucks and trailer equipment, things like that. Will drop into these tables. And then when I'm ready, I just click this button here and submit. And then we'll go over here and we'll run it. We'll use that record. So it's grabbing all that information, creating the document there. One thing that you want to do is add this HTTP module afterwards to grab the URL file from Documint. So it's going to ask for it right here, and you're going to need that. You need that URL because in order to either email it or to upload it back into your app. There are some things I get, like I get the email from the person that entered it. Then I create an upload file module to grab that file. Again, that's why you need it. So in map, you can grab the default file like that, which doesn't give it a name, or gives it a default name. I think it just calls it file. But I like to name mine, so I'll give it a static name, and then I'll add the ID, which is like the estimate number, and then I have a dot, and then I have a file extension, which is from. You could probably type in PDF, but I like this better. Documents module provides that file extension right here. So I just add that right in there dynamically. And then you don't touch the data part. Very cool there. And then again, you can upload it back into your record, your estimate record, and you're going to grab the file ID from the previous module that upload that file right there. And then again, you can email it out to the person that created it, give it a subject, body content. You can give it the same name, and that way it'll email it. So we'll take a look here. So if we go back into the app, this is where it uploads it, and that provides that link, which is just a file field in Knack. And you just upload it to that file field. And then this is how it looks. They have the logo, you have the information, all dynamic information that populates right into it. So there you have your repeated items here. Oh, I messed up on that labor. I think I might have deleted something. Now it was in there. Yeah. And so this is the output of that labor. So you have the labor item for that, and you have the output for the array of the trucks as well. Shows you that information that goes right into here. But yeah. I think I only had one record in there. So laborer is the labor type, and then it gives you the totals. So these totals are coming from Knack fields already calculated in the table, but Documint does do it for you too. You can add things there as well. If you wanted to put, the raw or the subtotals, if you will, and Documint can actually create totals, add those subtotals for you too. I've done it in other documents I have. But this is a really game changer here. Another thing you notice, which is really cool, if you notice I have here this header right here for equipment type. This is for the rental equipment that I haven't created. But if you notice, it's not in this document because there's a really cool condition that Documint has. because one of the things that, these documents can get really full, but not every transaction has data in it. So you can actually, in that header, you can create a logic to a display rule that will hide that header if there's no data under that header. That was really fun. And I believe Rafa helped me with that too. So that was really, really, yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
And I like to apply it to all of them just because, they could apply equipment and not labor or trucks, and rental. They could just apply one of these at any time. So that way the customer is not seeing these headers without any data under them. Could be confusing. Yes.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing about conditional logic is that you can have many different documents generated, but they are all coming from the same template. So you can build complex templates and have a final document nicely formatted, not displaying all the fields that you have there. So that's a good thing about it.
Yeah. I have our PO, I have our purchase orders very similar to that because we deal with several vendors, and several vendors want certain data displayed, or we want certain data displayed for certain vendors. So I have one like that will hide everything else for certain vendors, and show things for other vendors. So yes, yeah, it can get busy and can get complex, but it's a beautiful thing when it's done because it's, like you said, just one template.
Yes, exactly. And you just do it once and it just runs by itself.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
Of course, once it's done, I activate it and it'll just hide the watermark down there on the bottom. So, because again, this is going to go out to customers. So, yeah, it's been really fun to do these. It's been fun and exciting to be able to build something like this that you can produce to your, to your folks that requested, and they're happy with it from the get go. So it's been really great.
That's incredible, Nick. It's very good to hear. Thank you very much for showing your workflow here today. This will be very, very helpful. I believe it can add a lot more value to not just our products, but it can be very helpful for our users with them building their stack and automating everything and reducing time of work. And before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your perspective on the bigger picture, looking back at how your team handled this process before and how it works today. How has Documint changed your way to operate? What difference has it made for you and for your company on the day-to-day workflow?
Yeah, it big time. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, one of the things that was our ticketing. So I have these right here. So these are different types of paperwork that was out in the field that had to get back on a daily basis to the office. So I mean, these guys work out in the middle of nowhere in West Texas, and so they don't come to the office every day. So what they were doing was they were taking pictures of these papers, or they were scanning them. They had to go to I would say a remote office and scan them into a printer, and then they would get emailed to a person here that would then print them out and then get them to invoicing. Again, that was a long, yeah. So when you're talking about, 200 tickets plus a day, that can get really busy and messy because, a lot of guys' handwritings weren't very good. We couldn't read what they were writing. The girls were having issues with that. They would just guess at what they were saying. And it wouldn't happen daily because to them, they worked from, early morning hours and want to get home and drive home. So it was very cumbersome for them and frustrating for them to have to do that and take, from having to write out the ticket and then get to a place to take it, or take a picture of it and have trouble emailing it or having trouble texting it. And then the person here would have trouble printing it out because sometimes a format that was being sent over a phone wasn't printable. So I was dealing with that as well. So it was a lot of workarounds. Now with these, they can with utilizing Make and Document. I have it downloading into a OneDrive folder to where they fill it out online wherever they're at, and they submit. Once they get submitted, it goes to their supervisor for approval. That supervisor approves it, and then it gets downloaded to a OneDrive, and that person here just simply pulls up that folder, prints out a very nice and clean document, and gets it to invoicing. Much faster.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Total game changer.
Yeah, that's a big game changer. Yeah. And again, because of the various customers that we have, I did have to create different ones because of the back end of things like cost and pricing and all those things. You did have to create separate ones, but again, the document process of creating these, which by the way, I love the folders. The folders were a big change too. So I was able to actually sort it by apps. So I have several apps. I have like 7 of them. And so I was able to actually put all my documents into folders pertaining to those apps and pertaining to whatever scenarios I have them in. So yes, they were very helpful.
That's good to hear. Good to see you're making a good use of the template folders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Nick, thank you again for taking the time to share your workflow with us today. It's always valuable to see how companies work and how they are using Documint alongside tools like Knack, which is amazing. Thank you for showing us this tool today, and Make.com, and streamline real world processes. So we truly appreciate you walking us through your setup today.
You're welcome. I'm glad it helps.
Thank you very much. Excited to see you next time.